Imagine flying thousands of miles across the world just to do something so painfully embarrassing that locals can't decide whether to laugh or call the authorities. Yup, that's right. We're talking about the dumbest things Americans do on vacation. From ordering cheeseburgers in Paris to confusing countries with continents, you'll want to stick around till the very end because number 33 will leave you speechless. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more jaw-dropping travel stories, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next upload. Now, let's count down the 33 dumbest things Americans do when traveling abroad. 1. Asking, "Do you speak American?" Let's start with this gem. Instead of saying, "Do you speak English?" which is still slightly awkward but understandable, some Americans actually ask if locals speak American. Imagine walking up to a French waiter in Paris and confidently saying, "Hey, do you speak American?" The poor waiter's brain short-circuits. He's thinking, "American? Is that like a dialect of shouting? Or a cousin of cowboy slang?" It's not just ignorant, it's downright insulting because it erases the fact that English is a global language spoken in many countries. But hey, in the mind of that tourist, English apparently was invented in Texas in 1776. 2. Looking for McDonald's in every country. One of the saddest things you'll see is a tourist in Rome, surrounded by world-class pasta, pizza, gelato, and espresso, asking a local, "Excuse me, where's the nearest McDonald's?" It's like going to the Louvre and asking where the nearest gift shop sells posters of the Mona Lisa. Sure, Mickey D's exists in almost every country, but when you're thousands of miles from home, maybe skip the Big Mac for once. Yet, some Americans cling to their golden arches like it's their lifeline. They treat the McDonald's sign like a lighthouse guiding them to safety. 3. Confusing countries with cities. Some travelers take geography mistakes to Olympic levels. "Oh, you're from Amsterdam? That's in Denmark, right?" Or, "We're going to Paris, Italy." Locals usually respond with polite smiles, but deep down, they're screaming into the void. Imagine proudly telling someone you're going to Sydney, Africa. Not only is it embarrassing, but it also screams, "I should not have passed middle school." It's one of those facepalm moments that makes every other tourist in the room cringe. 4. Speaking louder instead of slower. Here's a universal move. If someone doesn't understand English, instead of simplifying their words, Americans crank up the volume like they're at a rock concert. "Where is the bathroom?" Locals don't suddenly speak English when the decibels increase. If anything, they just start backing away, wondering if this sweaty stranger is about to explode. 5. Tipping when it's not customary. Tipping is deeply ingrained in American culture, but in many countries it's unnecessary or even offensive. Yet, Americans insist on leaving piles of money like they're auditioning for a role as Santa Claus. Picture a cafe in Japan where the waiter politely returns the tip and the tourist gets offended. "What? You don't want my money?" "No, Karen. They're paid a living wage here." 6. Wearing socks with sandals. Ah yes, the classic dad uniform. Nothing says "I'm not from here" more than the socks and sandals combo. You'll see it strutting confidently down the cobblestone streets of Prague, blending with absolutely no one. Locals don't even need to hear your accent. They already know you're an American tourist because you're wearing what looks like orthopedic crime against fashion. 7. Demanding free tap water. In the US, asking for tap water is normal. Abroad, it's often unheard of. Yet Americans sit down at restaurants in Paris or Rome and demand free tap water like it's their constitutional right. "Excuse me, I don't want bottled water, I just want tap." The waiter blinks twice, already plotting your demise. To them, you're essentially saying, "Can I have the cheapest thing you don't even sell?" 8. Expecting ice in every drink. Americans have an obsession with ice cubes. In Spain, you'll get a cold drink, maybe 1 cube. But tourists will ask, "Can I get some ice?" And by some, they mean an entire glacier. Bartenders around the world have been silently suffering, thinking, do they want a beverage or an iceberg in a cup? 9. Talking about how cheap everything is. There's nothing worse than an American tourist walking through a market in Southeast Asia yelling, "Wow, this is so cheap back home, I'd pay triple!" What they think is a compliment actually insults the vendor, basically saying, "Your life's work is worth pocket change to me." It's like patting someone on the back and saying, "Congrats, you're poor but useful to me." 10. Wearing baseball caps everywhere. The baseball cap is the crown of the American traveler. It doesn't matter if they're in Paris, Tokyo, or the Amazon rainforest, you'll spot them instantly by the brim of that cap. Bonus points if it has a sports team logo. It's practical, sure, but also screams, "I'm here to drink Bud Light and compare everything to America." 11. Complaining about small hotel rooms. European hotels are notoriously tiny, but Americans walk in like they've been scammed. What is this? A closet? Back in Texas, my bathroom is bigger than this. Yes, because Texas is the size of an entire country. Welcome to Europe, where space is limited and you'll have to survive without a walk-in closet for 3 days. 12. Expecting free refills. This one gets messy. In the US, endless refills are a thing of beauty. Abroad, not so much. Yet tourists will shake their empty cups like, "Excuse me, my soda is broken." When the waiter charges them for a second Coke, they act like they've been personally robbed. 13. Misusing foreign phrases. Americans love sprinkling in local words, but often butcher them so badly it becomes comedy. Hola, buongiorno, ciao. Locals nod politely while trying not to choke on laughter. Sometimes it's so mangled it sounds like they're inventing a new language on the spot. 14. Taking selfies in sacred places. From Auschwitz to cathedrals, some tourists just can't resist duck-face selfies. #blessed in front of a war memorial? Really? Locals often stare in disbelief, wondering how someone could treat sacred history like the backdrop for a TikTok. 15. Asking for ranch dressing everywhere. Americans love ranch dressing like it's liquid gold. Abroad, it's practically unknown. Yet they'll ask for it with sushi, pasta, or even steak. Picture a Michelin star chef being asked, "Yeah, this truffle risotto is great, but do you have ranch?" Cue the chef fainting on the spot. 16. Overpacking like they're moving abroad. Some tourists arrive with 3 massive suitcases for a 1-week trip. Then they're shocked when they can't roll them across cobblestone streets. Watching them drag luggage uphill in Italy is like watching a live comedy show. Locals sip espresso, whispering, "Why do they need 6 pairs of sneakers for 7 days?" 17. Talking politics with strangers. There's always that one tourist who decides dinner in Greece is the perfect time to rant about American politics. Locals are politely sipping their wine, thinking, "We barely follow our own politics. Why are you dumping yours on us?" Newsflash, nobody abroad cares about your personal take on Congress. 18. Not respecting personal space. In many countries, keeping distance is normal. But Americans, known for friendliness, often lean in close, slap backs, and even hug strangers. For cultures that value personal space, this feels like being mugged by enthusiasm. 19. Forgetting voltage differences. Plugging a 110-volt American hairdryer into a 220-volt European socket is like setting off fireworks. Sparks fly, the hotel lights flicker, and suddenly the tourist is standing in smoke holding a melted cord. Congratulations! You've just blacked out the hotel. 20. Wearing American flags head to toe. Stars and stripes everywhere. Shirts, shorts, hats, even socks. It's less a fashion choice and more like walking around screaming, "Yes, I'm American, and I want everyone to know." Subtlety? Never heard of it. 21. expecting everyone to split the bill equally. In some cultures, one person treats the group, and next time it's someone else's turn. Americans whip out calculators, dividing bills down to the penny. Okay, you had one fry from my plate, so that's 43 cents. Locals stare, baffled, like they're watching accountants on vacation. 22. Over-tipping taxi drivers. Sometimes Americans pay double the fare, thinking it's polite. Taxi drivers grin, pocket the cash, and happily tell their coworkers, Americans are the best customers, keep 'em coming. 23. Asking if places take US dollars. Imagine walking into a shop in Berlin and asking, do you take US dollars? The cashier stares like you just asked if they accept Monopoly money. Pro tip, not every country bows to the almighty dollar. 24. Loudly comparing everything to home. Oh, this is cute, but in America we have bigger malls. Or, our highways are way wider. Great, thank you for the TED Talk on how America is larger. Locals aren't impressed. They're annoyed you came all the way just to say, yeah, but back home it's better. 25. Dressing for summer in cold climates. Some tourists show up to Iceland in flip-flops because the weather app said mild. 2 hours later, they're blue, shivering, and blaming the locals for not warning them. Pro tip, Google images of glaciers should have been a clue. 26. Arguing with airport security. Whether it's liquids, shoes, or baggage weight, some Americans argue with TSA equivalents abroad like it's optional. Spoiler, it's not optional. Arguing with airport security is like wrestling with gravity. You won't win. 27. Touching ancient monuments. Despite giant do not touch signs, tourists still lean on 2,000-year-old statues for selfies. Some even climb ruins as if they're playground equipment. Locals just whisper, this is why we can't have nice things. 28. Asking for peanut butter abroad. Americans treat peanut butter like a survival food. Abroad, it's rare, yet tourists storm supermarkets like, where's the peanut butter aisle? Locals blink in confusion, thinking, why are they so obsessed with this nut paste? 29. Not learning even one local word. A simple hello or thank you in the local language goes a long way. But many Americans refuse, acting like English is the planet's default setting. Then they get offended when locals don't instantly understand them. 30. Mistaking accents for countries. Are you from Australia? They ask a British man. Or worse, oh, you're from Spain. Cool, I love Mexican food. Awkward silence follows. Somewhere, geography teachers cry. 31. Taking food to go everywhere. Dining in many cultures is a slow, social event. But Americans? Can I get this to go at a 5-star Parisian restaurant? Nothing says cultural misunderstanding like asking for a doggy bag at a Michelin-starred table. 32. Not respecting dress codes. Temples, mosques, and cathedrals often have strict dress rules. Yet some tourists show up in tank tops, shorts, or crop tops. When told to cover up, they act offended. It's just clothes. Locals are quietly horrified by the disrespect. 33. Asking to see the wild kangaroos in countries without them. And finally, the crown jewel, asking locals in Africa where they can see kangaroos. Yes, it's happened. Confusing continents, animals, and entire ecosystems in one sentence. It's the ultimate combination of ignorance and confidence. So there you have it, the 33 dumbest things Americans do on vacation. Now, if you've ever been guilty of even one of these, don't worry, you're not alone. The important thing is to laugh, learn, and maybe do a quick Google search before boarding that next flight. Which one of these do you think is the absolute dumbest? Drop your answer in the comments and share this video with that friend who definitely needs a travel etiquette lesson. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more hilarious travel stories. Thanks for watching and safe travels wherever in the world you end up.